And for a lot of sales professionals, that's an awful tough question. So, we have to figure out what are we going to do to earn the sale. And, that means you get a phone call at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, and the prospect wants to ask you some questions, and you're looking at your watch because you have to get home for the weekend. Are you willing to take that time out to sit down with a prospect, or you look at a number and say, oh, let it go to voicemail, I'll deal with it on Monday? That's that's what we're getting at here, folks, is figuring all that stuff out. All right, so let's get into the 17 steps. So I know we're pressed for time, and when I deliver this session in our workshops every month across, which GFI Max is a sponsor of, this session here takes 2 or 3 hours to do properly. So we're going to try to condense it down to 45 minutes or so, so everybody so you can get all this stuff fast. Now, not to worry, Scott's recording this webinar, so I know you'll get it next week sometime. All the examples and all the tools and all the documents and marketing kits and all that, I'm going to have a download for you after the webinar today that you can go to our website and download. It's a 400 meg file. It'll have all the examples of the marketing kit, what you should put in your marketing kit, all that stuff I'm going to talk about today. You can download free of charge, no strings attached. You just got to, after the webinar, you got to say wait to the end for the URL. So if you leave early, you don't get the URL. But you're going to get all this stuff available to you that you can take and put to practice. It's not holding anything back. There's no, I'll give you 3 paragraphs and you got to call me and buy the rest of it. No, you get it all, folks. Okay, that's just the way we operate here at Ulistic. So let's get into the process here. Step number 1: the lead comes into your company, either through your website. If you outsource your telemarketing, the telemarketing people generate some sort of lead. They pick up the phone and call you. They send you an email. You stumble upon a lead. What do most MSPs do? Well, if you're like us back in the early days of IT Matters, you jumped up out of your seat because you're all excited you got some business, because that doesn't happen every day. And you run out the door armed with maybe some marketing materials, a notebook, and you say to the prospect, yeah, I'll be right there. Well, folks, I'm trying to stress the importance of not doing that. Okay, you want to have a qualification call with them. This is qualification step 1 in the process. There's 5 qualification steps throughout the process, but this one here, you want to have a call. You want to have a talk with them on the phone. Ask them some very basic questions like size of their business, their annual revenue, how many employees they may have, what their IT budget. Yes, ask the budget question up front. Make sure you know do they have money to invest in IT and IT services? Are they already working with an MSP? And if so, who are they working with? You can ask questions on how many computer users they have, how many servers they have, and some other technical questions. Also ask them, because you have nothing to lose, okay? Nothing to lose and everything to gain. Ask them if you're the only company they called, or are they calling other ones? Because you want to know what the competitive landscape looks like, okay? So find out, ask these questions. Again, I'm going to have all this documentation to you after the webinar, so you don't have to worry about, scribbling notes furiously. We'll get it all to you. Don't worry, okay? All right. Here's another thing I mentioned here. Don't give any pricing out just yet. Don't say, oh yeah, we're $50 per user, $250 per server, because is it fair to assume that a 10-user company with 1 server, who very computer literate, would be a lot less to support than a 10-user company with 1 server, where the users aren't that smart with machines? It is, and you don't know that yet because you haven't gone through the process. We would sell a small business network, let's say 10 users, 1 server. One company maybe $1,000 a month, and the other company maybe $3,000 a month, because the users were demanding more with technology. They ate more of our time on our help desk and all that stuff. So don't give out any pricing right now. You want to, after you qualify, if you say, yeah, this looks like a good opportunity, book your on-site meeting 3 days from today. So today's Thursday. You would book a meeting for Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Why? Easy. There's stuff you have to do between now and then, okay? So don't resist the temptation to run out the door today and meet that person, or tomorrow, okay? If your gut tells you, this doesn't seem like a good opportunity for us, there'll be a document in your downloads today called the Competitor Referral Letter. Now, this letter is a letter that you send in the mail to the prospect, thanking them for their time, but saying, you know what, right now you're not a good fit for us. But here are 3 MSPs that I highly recommend. These could be your 3 of your most fierce competitors. This accomplishes 2 things here, folks. One, in your competitors' eyes, these guys must be crazy. They're sending us business. 2, you're sending those referrals anyway. You're sending them referrals that don't meet your standards. They could be, garbage leads. They could be, whatever they are. But hey, don't. It's not a bad thing to disqualify an opportunity, because ultimately, at the end of the day, in 6 months, if you take that business on, you're going to be trying to figure out a way to fire them. So step number 1, have that conversation. Step number 2 is to send your new prospect questionnaire. So you're going to get all the information from this prospect on the phone. This is like immediately after you hang up the phone in step 1, you're going to send this prospect questionnaire. It could be a PDF document you send in the email. It could be a document. It could be, a simple email with some questions on it. But what we used to do at IT Matters was we set a website, a page on our website that was hidden, so you couldn't just get to it from the menu. And it would just say, go to this URL and fill out these basic questions. So some of those would be, same questions we asked in the phone interview. Size of the company, how many offices they have and where are they located, do they have a technology budget, and how much do they allocate per year for support? Do they work with an existing MSP? You'll get the sense of the questions. What we looked at achieving here, folks, with this is how serious is this company with working with us? And set a deadline. Because I have a saying that I stole from my good friend T. Harv Eker. He said, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if this company couldn't get back to you with a 5 or 6 basic questionnaire that you're sending them in the time period that you've allotted, what are they going to be like when it comes to paying your bill or approving your proposal, or are they going to delay, drag their feet? Again, future or past behaviors predict the future. So, keep an eye on this kind of stuff. Set a deadline. So ask basic questions, and ask for references too. Hey, it's not wrong to say, give me a name of 2 or 3 other companies that you work with, because I like to call them just to see how good you are to work with. We've done that all the time. We used to get printer companies and software companies, and they would give us a good. Hey, you know what? They're going to ask you for references, so why can't you ask them for references? It's a mutual win-win relationship, right? Most of us are fearful of doing that because we think we're going to lose the opportunity. Ask your prospect for references. Nothing wrong with that at all, okay? Let's move on. Step number 3. So step number 1, get off the phone. Step number 2, as soon as you get off the phone with them, send this new prospect questionnaire. After you send the prospect questionnaire, you're going to send them your marketing kit. My good friend Robin refers to this as a shock and awe package. Same idea, okay? You're going to send this out right after you get off the phone, after you send your questionnaire, send your marketing kit, and we're going to have a whole example, by the way, in that download. Lots of stuff that an actual company of ours is using, okay? Send this via courier. It's a package. It's just like a small envelope with some testimonials, case studies. Oh, and if you're not doing client case studies, folks, you're missing a huge opportunity to establish trust early. You remember that believe in? In fact, testimonials, case studies. Case studies more than testimonials will do that. By the way, a client case study takes like an hour and a half to do if you do it properly. Technical spotlights are case studies with the client name stripped off, because you may have some clients that don't want to have their name mentioned. Your company history, who the key players in the company are, any press releases, news clippings, any valuable information, okay? You're going to send this out with courier. I guarantee you, if you send this out ahead of time, you're going to get more time with the prospect when you go meet with them face-to-face. So let's review. Step number 1, phone call. Talk to them on the phone. 2, send out your questionnaire. Step number 3, this could be like within 30 minutes of the lead coming in, send your marketing kit out through a local courier. Okay? Enter everything in your ConnectWise, Autotask, CRM, email marketing system, whatever you're using. Put all the contacts into there. Step number 4, this happens the day before your meeting. So remember, we're going to meet on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So the day before your meeting, Google your prospect. Google all key personnel in the company, look at the company website, LinkedIn profiles, wherever you can gather any information on this company and these people that you're meeting with. Print them off. Print them, highlight them, make notes on them, print them, take them with you. Put them in your kit that you're going to take with you for the meeting. Why do we do that? Well, first of all, it shows that you're interested in working with this company. You've done your homework, so they're going to go, wow, this company is really prepared. You know everything about them. And then you're going to call the prospect on the phone. So the day before the meeting, call the prospect on the phone and, ask them questions about the company. So, hey, Joe, I know we're meeting tomorrow, but I'm doing some preliminary research before I come over. Where can I find more information about your company, industry, trade associations that you're involved with? There's one key thing you're looking at achieving here. If you understand the DISC profile, the DISC, dominant, influence, steadiness, and compliance, you're going to figure out what kind of person this is that you're going to be meeting with. Hey, if they're a dominant type person, when you get there, you get down to business. If they're a compliant type person, you're going to give them all kinds of facts, figures, information, because they have to have all that information before they make a decision. And ask them if they received the marketing kit. Hey, Joe, did you get our marketing kit? Ask them all these questions ahead of time. You want to gauge what type of person that you're going to be meeting with. That is so crucial, because a lot of times we go to meetings totally unprepared. If the guy's a chatterbox, friendly eye type person, you want to spend more time getting to know them as a person and talk about everything else other than what you're there for. So that's a very, very important step. Number 4, do your research. Make sure you pick up the phone and call them. Print off their marketing materials off their website, LinkedIn profiles, anything where you can gather information about this company. Step number 5, the day of the meeting. This is qualification step number 2, by the way, if you're following along there. The day of the meeting, in the morning, call your prospect to confirm the meeting. Now, this call doesn't go like this. Hey, Joe, this is Stuart, just making sure we're on for today. No, that's not the right way to do it. Here's the right way to do it. Hi, Joe, this is Stuart Crawford calling from Ulistic. I know we got a meeting scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Joe, I'm going to be in the area visiting other clients, and there's a chance that I may be running ahead of schedule. Is it okay if I'm running ahead of schedule to come over and, say 1:35, 1:40 time period, and can we, meet a little earlier? That's kind of a softer way of confirming the meeting versus saying, hey, are we meeting today? When you get to the office of the prospect, arrive 15 minutes early all the time. Don't be late. Remember what I said? If you're late for the meeting, what else are you going to be late for down the road? Okay? I understand traffic conditions happen. We all know what the traffic's like in Atlanta, Buffalo, New York, LA, Toronto, Calgary. Traffic can be bad at times. You know that. You live there. So plan for it. I'd rather be sitting in the local Starbucks twiddling my thumbs rather than running into a meeting sweating because I've been rushing and giving that appearance that I'm not prepared. When you get there early, make friends with the gatekeeper. That person's going to become your ultimate friend. Talk business, talk goals, understand objectives. Don't talk technology. Understand how the company uses IT. This is not a time for tech talk, folks. Bring up the budget question if you haven't got that answer yet. Do they qualify? If they do, great. Proceed to the next step. If they don't, we send that competitor referral letter that I talked about in step number 1. Okay, so let's recap. 1, phone call. 2, questionnaire. 3, we're going to do our marketing kit. 4, we're going to do our research. And 5, we had our meetings. If they qualify, and by the way, you're going to take lots of notes, and you're going to take detailed notes as possible, because that information you're collecting right now is going to help you prepare your proposal or your action plan in the future. Let's go to the next step. We're going to book our technical discovery 3 days into the future. I forgot to ask, and it's hard to gauge some interaction here on a webinar, but why do you think we're booking ahead of time, booking 3 days out all the time? Remember in step number 1, I asked if there's any competitors involved? We want to be the last one in all the time, because the last one in always wins. And if you're not the last one in, delay, block, tackle, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're the last one in. Okay? And I know that there may be 2 MSPs in Atlanta right now listening to this call, and they're saying, well, if both of us are jostling for that position, it's going to get tough. I understand. But there's 104 of us on this call right now. There's got to be tens of thousands of MSPs who are not on this call. So chances of that happening are pretty slim to none, okay? So the last step, book your technical discovery 3 days into the future. Step number 6, I'm going to kind of pick up the pace just a little bit here. Again, in the downloads you're going to get a comfort letter. Okay, the comfort letter is a letter that your Chamber of Commerce president may write, your chapter president of your B&I club, industry associations, whatever. It's not a technical letter. It's a, hey, you're a stand-up member of the community letter. If you're working with legal, and the prospect is a legal law firm, and you happen to be involved with a legal association, get
Okay, thanks everyone. Looks like we might have lost Stuart there for a second. I've got him on the phone here, and we'll take it out. But thanks for asking all those questions. We got lots of questions of people that are coming in, and we're going to have some time for Q&A at the end here. Stuart is actually down in North Carolina right now. I'm checking in to see what's going on with him. He's dialing back in right now. So thanks for all your time. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put up another poll for you to take a second, if you'll take a second and answer this poll. Okay, yeah, Stuart's calling back in. So I'll go ahead and launch this poll here. So if you'll take just a second to take some time. As I said, yes, this webinar is being recorded. You'll get a message from the GoToMeeting software that'll tell you where you can download it. You'll see that at our site, mspbusinessmanagement.com. I'll send that around. Take a look at that site if you haven't been there yet. We publish new articles every Monday and Wednesday, and so it's got lots of advice about how to run your MSP business better. That's mspbusinessmanagement.com. I've sent that around to everyone there. Okay, let's see. So thanks for, okay, just keep voting there. Yeah, just waiting for Stuart to call back in here. And so just take half a minute there to vote in this poll, folks, and we'll get Stuart back on the line. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, I'm back. Scott, are you there?
Okay, yeah. Hey, Stuart. Yeah, I launched a poll on out of what of every one MSP opportunities you have, what percentage do you close? I want to go ahead and launch that war for you.
Great. Sorry about that. The phone just died on me there, so I had a backup plan in place. Okay. Like every good MSP, we have our business continuity plan in place.
Okay, excellent. So let me go ahead. I'll close that poll.
Yeah, and I really apologize, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I'll let me share the poll, and then we can kind of talk about it. Okay, so that was, I think I made a typo there. Out of every one MSP opportunities you have, what percentage do you close? So it looks like we had the 51 to 75% with 30% of people said that, 0 to 25, 23% people, 100%. We said 3% of the people in the audience out there, Stuart, we're closing every opportunity that they have.
That's great. So you guys are going to get some good refresher here.
Yeah. So okay, turn things over to you.
Alrighty. All right. So I think I left off with the Scott. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, no, you're great. Sounds great. Yep, and we can see your screen now too. Okay, great. So we're good. Thanks, everyone.
Good. So let's get back into this here. Sorry, folks, again. My apologies. So we're sending our comfort letter. So we're going to send the comfort letter. We're going to put it in the mail. Do not email it. Put it in the mail. Put a stamp on it. Put your return address on it. Drop it off in the mail. Don't put your company name on it. We want to make it appear like it's coming from that person who's actually authored the letter for you. Remember, I think I was talking about, write the letter for them and then send the letter, edit it, and then have them use that for, if you're legal, healthcare, always trying to mirror the industry and the vertical that the the prospect is in. All right, folks, let's keep going. Number 7, you're going to send out your endorsement letter. Now, you sent out, as soon as you got back to the office, the next day, send your endorsement letter. Now, this is a letter, and again, I do have examples of this in the email that you'll get later today. This is a letter from your best possible client. Now, again, try to mirror as much as possible, okay? Law firm, law care, healthcare. If you can't, that's okay, but get there, okay, down the road. This is a letter coming from your best client, basically telling this prospect that they'll be absolutely crazy if they don't work with you. Now, I know some of you are saying, wow, that's pretty, pretty bold move. Absolutely, it is. These are the things you need to do to close business. So you want to get, well, also get to that believe in. Once you hit that believe in status, people don't question money. That's the nice thing about it, okay? As long as your numbers aren't too far off, cost usually doesn't become an issue. Okay, so you got to send your endorsement letter. Again, same idea. Put it in the mail, send it off that way. Step number 8, you're going to send a marketing video. So if you have a marketing video with some clients telling how great you are, perfect, use that. Send a marketing video about your company. If you don't have one, create one. They're not hard to do, folks. This is a critical touch point in the sales process, by the way. What you want to do is set up a landing page with your video on it. Make it unique to that prospect. With content management systems the way they are, go to www.mycompany.com/law firm prospect. And what you're looking at doing here is, if somebody hit that landing page, you can set up alerts. So when somebody hits that landing page, guess what? You know the prospect is on there looking at your video. And you can judge how long you're on that page for through your analytical software. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Set up your marketing kit. If you don't have one, we'll be more than happy to help you with that. We got 5 or 6 videos that we provide to managed service providers. Step number 9. Remember when we were in the meeting, we told them we're going to schedule our technical discovery 3 days out? Well, welcome to day 3 days out from that first on-site meeting. This is when you send your sales engineer or your lead tech out to do a technical discovery. Now, this is to the end prospect. The prospect never sees this. This is just a step in the process. Qualification step number 3, by the way, for those who can score. That you want to go in there and make sure, hey, from a technical perspective, everything looks good. Send your engineers in there, your technical lead, your sales engineer, have them turn over all the stones, look, interview some of the clients, the prospect, or the staff there. Just have them, ask questions. 1-2 hours most. This is, depending on, but it depends on the size of the prospect. If it's a bigger one, you may want to spend more time. But this is not a several-day process, okay? Do any of the blocking and tackling to allow the sales engineer to do their job. Dig deep. Hey, do they need a scan project? When you're doing around it, they may have a whole bunch of Windows XP machines here that need to be upgraded. Make note of that. Talk about the business benefits later about that kind of stuff. I like to say never install software at this phase, because the person who last touches the network or installs anything and if something breaks is usually held responsible. Okay? Do they qualify? If yes, carry on. If not, send them that competitor research letter that we talked about back in step 1, or competitor referral letter, sorry, that we talked about back in step 1. After you get back from your technical discovery, you're going to send out your technical comfort letter. This is just like the comfort letter we discussed earlier. This is, but it's coming from a technology provider, either, if you're a digital person, Microsoft, Apple, whoever you work with. And again, you want to mirror it to match the technology that you've seen in the technical discovery. So let's use our law firm example. The law firm has servers. It has, 25 workstations, old world sort of legal application. First of all, are you proficient in an application? If you are you a partner with them? And if you are, great. Call World Docs and say, hey, I need this technical comfort letter. Here's an example. Now, it's not an endorsement because I know most vendors can endorse one partner over another, but it talks about, you know, your level of certifications, why you're a great partner, how many certified staff members you have, what it takes to reach that certification level. You want to make that probable here. That's the main feature. You want to make them feel comfortable that, you know what, if I make a decision to hire this managed service provider, it is a good choice for me to make. Know, like, believe in. Okay, very critical that you follow these steps as I outlined. I know that we had, what, 21 to 40 days was the average close cycle. Most of you were not in that 80% close ratio that Scott put up that poll. Okay, so these things help you get to that 80%. So the guys doing 100%, great. You got a secret formula figured out. Take whatever you can take out of this. But for those who are not, guess what? You have some homework to do. And again, I'll have all the examples for you to get started with. Step number 11. In your office, this meeting happens office. You do not go to you do not need to go to the prospect site for this. You're going to pick up the phone and call the prospect. You're going to have what we call the project overview meeting. So this is a phone call that happens between you and the prospect, and you review your meeting notes. Hey, what did the technical guys found in the technical discovery? You can bring up, hey, you know, we found 15 Windows XP workstations. Did you know that Windows XP is coming up? That, you know, April 8th of this year, you know, Microsoft stopping support. Just bring that up and talk about some of the reasons why they may want to look at upgrading those Windows XP machines. No pricing. You want to make sure you understand the needs of the prospect once again. You want to make sure their needs haven't changed. Talk about high-level discussions on different technologies. We talked about like that Windows XP one we just talked about. Use the exact words the prospect uses. So what I mean by that is this. In our on-site meeting, the prospect may say something like this. You know, our number one priority for our company is make sure that all of our branch offices can. So what you say when you're echoing that back to the prospect, you say, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect. In our meeting, you mentioned one of their biggest concerns was having the ability to make sure real-time communications happen between all your offices and you can keep everything up to date. Is that still a priority for you, or have your needs changed? And when they say, yeah, that's still a priority, when you write your action plan or some called a proposal, you can echo that back. Say, goal number 1, reliable communication between branch offices. Here's how we address that. It's starting to make sense here. What we want to use, what we want to accomplish here is early approval. If pricing wasn't an option here and pricing didn't matter, because everything that we covered here makes sense to you. This is what you want. Because when it gets into negotiations and objections later on, they may say, oh, Stuart, $5,000 a month is too much. Not what I was expecting. You come back and say, well, when we did step number 11 here, you said this is exactly all the technology you needed. This is the service that you needed. And guess what? This is the price for it. Find out where the competition is in the process, too. Ask the question. So I know that you're interviewing 2 other MSPs. Have they presented their proposals yet? Have they talked to you about anything? If they have, great, you're free to go. If they haven't, they may say, well, ABC company has gave me their proposal. I'm waiting for XYZ, and they're coming in next Tuesday. You can say, great, I have a little bit more homework to do. I should be ready to go and come over to your office on Wednesday next week. Does that work for you? Remember what I said, you want to be the last one in at all times. Important step here, don't hang up. Go to the next step. The next step is this. Introduce the concept of managed services. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, they bring us in at first to be managed services. Great. If you already talked managed service with them, you can skip over this step. This is the only one to kind of allow you to skip over. But some people don't have the ability to talk about managed services yet until this step. So you want to introduce the concept. So, talk about the value it brings to the prospect. Review your case studies. Remember your case studies that you've done up until now? Because we all do case studies, right? We all have those in place. Talk about those case studies. Here's how ABC Trucking used our IT services. Here's how McMillan Law Firm used our IT services. Here's how Smith, Jones, and Roberts, a CPA firm, used our IT services. talk about those and see, how they use them. Invite them to call Smith & Jones law firm if they need to. You want to seek early buy-in that this is something that they want an ongoing support program. Don't talk about pricing. Very important. No numbers yet, okay? If they ask, here's the standard answer you give them. Back and just review everything one more time so I can give you the proper numbers you need to make an informed decision. That'll usually buy you 2 or 3 more days, okay? Do they qualify? Yes? Great, move to the next step. No? Send that competitor referral letter. Step number 13, meet with your team internally. Go through, have everybody who is involved in the process up to now review their meeting notes. Everyone aids in the preparation of the action plan. Keep in mind your prospect's budget. Mirror the prospect in your action plan, by the way. Action plan is just another fancy word for proposal, by the way. Mirror the prospect. Echo back everything that they told you. Print it professionally. Never email this. I know today's world, it's easy just to email stuff. Do not email your proposal. A proposal, action plan, whatever you want to call it, is something that you need to meet face-to-face with the prospect. Now, I know some of you have distance factors involved in your business, so that's fine. If you can't meet in person because of distance, go to webinar, go to meeting. It's pretty cheap. Get that, okay? Don't email it. Book your meeting, your on-site presentation. A couple of days out, you obviously know back a couple of steps, so you know that you already committed that you're going to go on Wednesday. Make sure you're ready to go on Wednesday. Wednesday shows up. It's time to present your action plan. If you follow these steps, this is just a logical conclusion. Do you bring a project? Some people ask, do we bring a projector and PowerPoint? No. Do not do PowerPoint on this, folks. Okay? Bring your sales engineer with you so they can answer any technical questions that come up. This is the time to ask for the business. Okay? Have concrete numbers. Deal with questions. Don't leave the meeting with some form of commitment. And a commitment could be this. Are you ready to go ahead? Yes? Good. We can start our onboarding process next week, or start a standardization project next week. Are you ready to go ahead? No. When can I book a follow-up meeting with you? That's the commitment. Don't allow them to say, I'll get back to you. This is great information. I need to talk to my team. If they actually say, I need to talk to my team, now you know you're not talking to all the decision makers. So, you got to say, well, this is great. When can I have a meeting with the team? We can review. What do you lose? You don't have the business now, so why not ask to meet with everybody? And then, were you the last one to present? Again, if you weren't the last one to present, you failed somewhere in the process. Step number 15, the onboarding or follow-up. Okay, so if they onboard, if they're becoming a client, great. Do your onboarding process. If they're saying no, then start your follow-up process. Now, we don't get into a lot of follow-up talk about today, but how often should you follow up? My standard policy is this: the next business day, schedule a follow-up call. Hey, Joe, this is Stuart Crawford. We met yesterday. This was a great meeting. I just want to see if you had any additional questions that arose from our meeting. Don't do this. Hi, Joe, this is Stuart. Are you ready to go ahead? We're ready to start when you are. No. Hey, Joe, this is Stuart Crawford. I just want to see if you have any additional questions arising from our meeting. If they're coming on board as a client, the sales professional stays engaged and transitions over to an account team, if you're lucky enough to have one. By the way, I have a draft press release for approval while you're there. I have a client in Calgary, Excel Professional Services, who writes press releases on all their new MSPs that they bring on, new MSP clients that they bring on. Why do they do that? Well, they want to showcase how great they are in closing business and that they work with some pretty good companies. Again, doesn't hurt to bring a draft press release to the prospect says, hey, by the way, we have a way of doing business in our company here that we'd like to showcase all of our clients. Hey, would you mind if we just make a small announcement that we're going to be working with you? Most clients will say yes, some will say no, and if they say no, that's okay. It's not the end of the world, but you have to ask. Step number 16 in the process here, send them your thank you gift. Now, Your thank you is the two most important words in business. That's what thank you is. You know, it has a huge impact, by the way. And we had a standard policy, Key Matters, which we gave 1% of the gross value of the MSP contract. So let's say your MSP contract was a 1-year contract, and it was $1,000 a month. Our thank you gift was 1% of that. I know some people will say send brownies, send cupcakes. That's great. It doesn't really make that much of a big dent, and you know it's okay, I guess. But if they, hey, if your prospect's a big football fan and they are allowed to accept gifts, most small businesses that's not a problem. Some charitable organizations, nonprofit, governments, other organizations, that's a problem. Okay, so make sure you don't violate any of those rules because you don't want to put a person's career in jeopardy. If they can't accept gifts, ask them if they'd like to make a donation to a charity on their behalf. That's a nice way to spend it, or take them out for lunch or something of you know, of value. Okay, but make sure you say thank you. Thank you for your business. That's very powerful. And the last step is this. You know, ask for a referral. You know, what a great way to do things. You know, ask for a referral. Why do we do it right now? Pretty simple. They're happy with what we're doing right now. So, you know, you haven't had a chance to screw things up, as we joke about sometimes. You know, just ask them this. So, Joe, you thought this process was pretty good. You came on board as a client. Our guys are busy working away here, making sure you guys are taken care of. Joe, do you have any friends or colleagues in your industry or that you know who may value our services just like you do? And, you know, what a great time to ask for the referral. So ask for the referral in step number 17, the last step of the sales process. So let's review here. Kind of ran that through there pretty quick, even with our little technical glitch. Make sure you follow the process. You know, that's key. If you deviate away from the process, I can't guarantee the results because, you know, ultimately we got to get that know, like, and believe in. This process does work. And folks, remember I told you earlier in this thing, we started with 3 of us in IT Matters making $600,000 a year, $600,000 in revenue a year. Basically, Tony, Rob, and myself came over with a bunch of clients that we had from our old MSP that we worked for. We grew that company in 7 years to $5.4 million. So this is not something I crafted up and said, do this. No, this is something we did in our MSP. The average sale occurs between the 7th and 12th touch. Now, I know that for some of you have a 21 to 40 day sales process and higher than that. Lots of time to make all these touches. And it's not 51 steps or 53 like other, you know, sales processes we saw out there. You're going to see an 80% increase in your close ratio. Steps 1 to 3 absolutely cannot be missed, okay? You're going to have that phone call, qualify them on the phone. You're going to do your questionnaire, and you're going to do your research. Why is the research important? We found out, by the way, at IT Matters that one of our prospects was suing their old MSP. We didn't know that unless we Google searched it and it showed up in the court documents that were publicly online. You know, that was you know, very important. The rest, if the prospect gives you a buying signal, I will allow you to fast forward to the end. So in meeting number 4, I'll give you a real life example of what happened. The first on-site meeting, we were meeting with a company called Timing Energy. They were an oil and gas company in Calgary. I was talking to the CFO, giving, you know, understanding what they wanted to do, or their, you know, what they needed from technology. And the president stuck his head in the meeting room and he said, "Hey, are these the new IT guys?" Because I was just talking to one of my buddies over another company that you take care of. He says, "You guys are the guys, so when can we get started?" We fast forwarded to the end and gave him our agreement right there on the spot and said, you know, we're going to charge you by the hour until we can, you know, figure out what the fixed cost would be. And he was okay with that. We knew when to shut up. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. And the last step, never forget to say thank you. Again, thank you is the 2 most powerful words in business. So, next steps here. So these, I hung out through all the technical difficulties and, you know, my rambling on here about the sales process. You know, Ulistic offers full MSP marketing and sales strategy coaching and support. So we, you know, a lot of our clients turn to us and outsource their entire marketing and their sales strategy to us. We'll help you develop their sales process, all your comfort letters, marketing kits, all that stuff that you need. If you go to www.realistic.com/GFIRocks, we'll give you a copy of the sales ebook, all the examples, tools, and other resources that we mentioned today. So that's like a 400 meg download, folks. It's quite large. Go there, fill out the form, and we'll email you a link where you can download it, okay? Also, just kind of a side note, if you're looking for a new website, Realistic has a $297 a month website that gives you a website. We'll do all your case studies, by the way. We do 2 case studies as part of it. So remember those ones that say, no, I don't have case studies yet? We'll do your case studies for you to get started. We'll give you all the marketing videos and much more for $297 a month, including the website, okay? If you want that, my partner, Melissa, will be more than happy to help you, talk to you over the phone. If you call her at 716-799-1999, extension 102, okay? We're here to help you. So if we're a good fit for you, like what we have to say, feel free to reach out to us. Get that book anyway, the ebook and all that other stuff that we mentioned. So, Scott, that's all I have today. I'm going to put my contact information back up there one more time and people can look at, and then we'll go from there. But that's all I had for material today. And once again, I apologize for the technical malfunctions there.
Yeah, no worries. We had some. I think we got the first minute or so, a couple of minutes of recordings cut off. But you don't say anything important at the beginning, right, Stuart?
That's right.
Okay. But maybe I'll try to get this out tomorrow. It's not me. Just kind of to render it out in HD kind of takes a while, and I've got only one machine right now. So, but I'll do my best to try to get this out tomorrow, and then you'll get an email in your from the GoToMeeting software where you can watch all this. And what about the slide deck, Stuart? Do you want to make that available? Can we make that available for the viewers?
Yes, it'll be all part of that download that they get. The slides, the ebook, the marketing kit examples, the case study examples are all going to be in that download.
Okay, all right. Well, so you'll get this email from the GoToMeeting that'll have a link to the video, and then whatever links that Stuart wants you to go to, I'll put those in there as well. So that'll either be tomorrow or Monday. So we've got just some time here for a few questions, Stuart. I want to thank everyone again for coming out, showing up. This is the 3rd year that we've done this, and it's always a success. Thanks again, Stuart. And you got time for a few questions here?
Well, I do see one in the question pane here on GoToWebinar, Scott, that we could address here. So
okay.
The question comes.
All right, why don't you go ahead and grab it?
Yeah, I went and I got it here right in front of me. So the question basically is, how much should you spend on a marketing kit, and should you get it professionally printed, and what would you do? So my recommendation is this, folks, is everything that your MSP touches should be done professionally. So I don't know what it's like in the UK, and I think this company has a presence in the UK and Europe. But definitely US and Canada for sure. I use a company called Overnight Prints, overnightprints.com. They are very affordable. The presentation folders are the expensive piece, but you can get postcards and brochures printed off for a few cents per copy. So it's really, really inexpensive. So or you can always use your local Kinko's and whatever to print this stuff out too. Or if you have a really good end laser printer in your office, then that's a good substitute as well. But everything that your MSP sends out needs to be professionally done and with graphics, not this simple Times New Roman Word document that I see some stuff coming out with. So it doesn't take long to get this stuff done and get it out the door professionally. That was one quick question that came up there, Scott. Was there any others?
Yeah, there's a few over here. So if why don't you go ahead and pick out which ones you think look best. I have to object to your Times New Roman font. Are you a font snob, Stuart?
I'm not. No. I'm just that one used all the time.
All right. You go ahead. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good thing though. It's a good point though. Yeah. Just keep away from anything too fancy though. Stick with a sans serif font. I think was what it's easier.
Oh yeah. That's I usually default to Century Gothic, Arial, and those the standard ones, anyways.
Right. Okay. That's enough. We won't bore everybody with font talk. Why don't you go ahead and pick one that you think looks good over there?
Well, okay. Let's just see what I have here, Scott. Coming in. So we had a question about the on-site meeting. Go ahead, sorry. You got one? You got one pulled up there?
Yeah, well, Jay was wanting to know about Ulistic. Do you work with folks over here in the UK, let's say in Europe or anywhere else?
Yeah, we can do some coaching that way. Some of the services are a little harder to deliver, obviously, overseas. We have clients in the UK and Australia, but we'd be more happy to, websites, that's easy to do. Doing the design of the print marketing is easy to do. What we do for our friends overseas is we do all the design work over here, and then send it over to you, and you can get it locally printed in the UK or in Australia or wherever they are. It just makes it a little easier that way to get it printed that way versus us getting it printed here and then shipping it over. It gets to be a little costly that way. So to help save our clients some money, we just give them all the designs and have them printed locally.
Okay, excellent. Why don't you go ahead and see if you can squeeze in a couple more there, Stuart?
Well, one of the other questions we always seem to get in this webinar is no different is the comfort letters. What makes a good comfort letter? Well, again, you'll get the examples, but let me just kind of recap the comfort letter concept and why it's important. A comfort letter really it's not a sales letter, okay? So it's just a letter that the chairman of your B&I group or your Chamber of Commerce, or if you're a member of the Medical Managers Association, the person who runs that organization, it's just basically saying, your company is a member in good standing, and as a member of this organization, you have to adhere to these strict guidelines. I've seen clients of mine use their Rotary Club and Vistage and different, HTG, Heartland Tech Groups, and Larry's groups there, that kind of, I can't remember Larry's groups off the top of my head, but that kind of stuff is also acceptable for a comfort letter. The technical comfort letter, folks, it comes from your strategic vendors, so your partners that you work with. A lot of people use Microsoft, Dell, HP, Lenovo. It could be even your hosted VoIP provider. It could be, the software application for vertical that you specialize in. And really, what that says, the technical comfort letter is a letter coming from that organization says, as a partner or as a member of the community, you've been a goal partner for X amount of years, and as a goal partner, you have to meet these strict guidelines. You have X amount of staff members who are certified in these technologies. Again, it's not a sales letter. It's just say, well, you know what? The prospect receives that. They look and say, well, this is a real organization that has good people. Or, what we're trying to accomplish here is they're not going to get fired for choosing your MSP. And a lot of times the sales process, especially those ones who have a longer sales cycle or only closing 3 out of 10 deals, what's happening is that you're getting beat up in the marketplace by other MSPs, and sometimes we lose on price because we haven't done that comfortable feeling. That made the prospects feel comfortable. So you want, in this, I don't care what size of MSP you are, if you're one person or if you're 500 people. This process works no matter what size you are. Remember, we did it when we had 3, and we did it when we had 34 employees. So this process works. So your end goal is to make the prospect feel 100% comfortable that you are the right decision for them to make. That's why we don't talk about numbers, Scott, until well into the process, because we want to eliminate price as an objection right off. We want to eliminate the need for them to say, well, I can't make a decision without references. You want to give all that information up front. You want to tell them your case studies. You want to share how great of an MSP that you have right up front. Nothing wrong with being a little is boastful the right word to use, but don't be afraid to demonstrate your proficiencies and how good of a company you actually have, because you worked hard to make that company great. So why not showcase it?
Yeah, excellent. And we've got we've got a couple of articles over on MSP Business Management about how easy it is to get a case study or a customer testimonial. I think one of the stories that one of the articles one of the MSPs was talking about was they had a camera set up in there that was handy, set up kind of in their office there, and if a customer came in and was really happy, they would ask right there and then, is it okay if we film you for a couple minutes just talking about, you know, the service. And there you go, boom, right there. That's a video.
Exactly.
Case
you know what else, Scott? You know, people do as well is they use their iPhone. The iPhone and the new Microsoft phone, the camera technology on these phones is remarkable. And you know what we've done. We had a client in Boston that we just recently did this for. We created an intro and an outro video, and they use something like Live Movie Maker or iMovie on the Mac, and just splice this all together. And they constantly put out videos. If you want a really good example of an MSP using video testimonials, head over to alvareztg.com. That's alvareztg.com. They have a video section on their website. That is exactly. They just had a. You know what they did, Scott? They had a lunch and learn, and they held people back afterwards and filmed them all in the same lunch and learn room, and spliced it all together. It was really, really simple to do. That is so powerful, folks. You know, and the technology is readily available, which is even easier. Gone are the days of hiring expensive video people to do this for you. You can do it really, really inexpensive these days.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, I mean, this is a whole nother webinar that we'll probably have, maybe, hopefully we get to it later in the year, but not to mention, like, the SEO benefit, the search engine benefits of having a video, you know, out there linked to your site. That's a whole nother science, but, you know, that's ways you can draw more people in, you know, just not get the word out easier, but also draw people in through Google search.
Yeah, I call that expanding your brand network, which is crucially important online these days.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it looks like we've run over time, but it was great. It was a great Q&A there at the end, everyone. Thank you very much. Got lots of questions there for you, Stuart. So you've got some homework. As I said, I'll send these over to Stuart so he can kind of go through these and answer some of these questions in his free time. I want to thank you again, Stuart.
We may make blog posts out of them, Scott, and put them up on the blog so you people can follow them that way too.
Yeah, and then so you're going to let people know what's the address where they can go to download the sales thingy, the sales package?
Yeah, it's on the screen. On the screen right now, ulistic.com/GFI.
Okay, I think let's see. Okay, yeah. So just go there, and if it's not up there,
it should be all ready. It should be all ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. So just go there, folks, and then you also watch your email box for the GoToMeeting thing, where you'll be able to watch the video and stuff. Yeah. So yep. Look. Yeah. It's all right there. Just fill in a little form, and so watch that, and you'll get that. It'll be either tomorrow or Monday where this will all be done, and hopefully I'll see you back around in 2015, Stuart.
I look forward to every year, Scott. It's like the highlight of my of the month of January doing this webinar with you folks. So, and I really want to thank you guys for. You know, your continued sponsorship of our Ulistic workshops every month across the U.S. and Canada. So thanks again for that.
All right, excellent. Well, maybe we can do another one. We can talk about fonts and SEO later on in the year or something, Stuart.
Perfect. Let's look forward to it.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for coming to the webinar, everyone. Appreciate your time, and watch your email boxes for the video link. Thanks, everyone. I'll register for our February webinar, time-saving tips for MSPs. I put the link out there, too, mspbusinessmanagement.com. See you later, Stuart. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Scott. Take care, everyone.